I have 2 New Year's Eve, technically 3, but I'm going to combine one here. But I have 2.5 looks that I want to do today and document. I like the word document instead of fill. So what I have in mind is I know a lot of us like to do silver for New Year's Eve, but then some of us want to do gold. So I thought I would do a half and half, but what's going to be the difference is I'm going to show you how to just do a nice neutral eyeshadow base that's going to complement both. The look is definitely going to be more full glam. So when I'm wanting a really full glam look, I want to start with a clean canvas, and this is called clean canvas. So we're going to grab our concealer brush. While I have you here, we still have our holiday sets, but they are almost gone. So if you haven't checked out the brush holiday sets, now is the time because the holiday is almost over. This concealer brush is from the Essential Travel set. Let's just go ahead. I don't know how I want to do the eye. I know that they're going to match in terms of shape, but the lid will be silver and one will be gold. But I do know we want full glam to start with, and I'm using the shade Fair. And remember, this goes for everything. The lighter the base, the truer the color will be. I'm grabbing a little bit more just to take that all the way up to my brow bone. And I'm gonna push that into the brow. I'm not gonna carve it today. I might carve it tomorrow, but not today. And I'm going to try to use my more affordable products. Don't sleep on this palette. Don't sleep on it. So I, at one time, would have told you that we can find foundations that are drugstore, so easy, concealers, definitely lipstick. But you know what? The one thing that was hard to do affordably, and please note that I speak very respectfully, but it's very true. The hardest thing to do, and to do it more budget friendly, was eyeshadow. Not anymore. Let me go get you a link for this palette. So I want to keep the crease more neutral. And if you're confused about what a neutral brown is, this palette is a really good option. It is a very just neutral, not too warm, not too cool. But long gone are those days. And this palette is only $10, and y'all have seen me reach for it a lot recently. A lot. I really think that y'all will like it. So we're just going to build up this first shade, and I'm using the side of the brush to really pack that color on, intensify it, and set the eyeshadow base. It's a very wet eyeshadow base, but with that comes more pigment and a smoother blend. So as soon as you figure out that swiping, especially in this stage, is not going to be your best friend, pressing at this stage is going to be your best friend. And just take your time, really pack it in there. Your eyeshadow is going to wear better, and it's going to just look so smooth, so perfect. Now we're going to grab this shade, if I don't throw it in the floor, and we're going to grab a little bit of that. There it is, just on the side. And then I'm going to start to press this on the top part of my crease, and that's going to be our transition. I'm trying to choose the side. Sometimes we can even hold it like this. See how my pointer finger's on the side? And then just go back and forth. And if you can't shut one eye at a time, just tilt your head back. And by just going back and forth like this, we're going to create a very smooth transition. We can pick up more of the product, no big deal, just a hair. I'm just trying to be really careful. We don't want to over blend it. And then just continue to transition until it's nice and smooth. All right, so I want you to fill around in your eye, okay? You're going to fill that circle, that orbital bone situation there, right? But what we're wanting to do is we don't want to go directly in here, okay? I'm going to shut one eye. I'm just doing this for demo. Okay, I fill it there, but if I put it there, you don't see it. So what we're doing is we're creating a different version, a more rounded version. Speaking of a rounded version, here comes Jean Bean. Jane, you want to come say hi? So that's going to go right out of our natural... Gene's snorting. Here he comes. Let me show him to you. Okay. He's big. Okay. One thing about Gene, he's real big. Okay. He's not an overweight boy. No, his vet says he's perfect. You jawed a vet last month. Yes. Also, I will turn into a maniac when it comes to loving on this cat. I will lose my mind and turn into... Does anybody remember Elmira from Looney Tunes? And he's very sweet. He's extremely sweet. He's soft. And he will take a snuggle anytime. You can pick him up at any time. He never scratches. He never bites. He loves everyone. And this is Jean. This is Jean Bee. That's enough of that. No, that's enough. That's enough. No. Whew, I love that kitty. I love him. So we were using this shade. We're going to use black eyeshadow, but let's wait to use that until after we get our gold and silver on. But let's just continue with our faux socket. So I'm filming a video that I can post as well, so that's why it's already on. This is what we're using. We're using this Kiko Milano Silver Shadow. I hope it's on Amazon because I feel like you could get it very quickly. Look at how pigmented this is. And it's just gonna do a natural cut crease, a natural carve is what I was going to say. But we'll soften that with the black eyeshadow in a second. But let's just go ahead and make sure that's really nice and pigmented. And do you see how nicely that goes with that more neutral crease? Also note, I'm gonna leave this bare. I am gonna do a wing. So I'm gonna leave a little bit of room for the liner. Anytime that you're gonna do black, brown, any color liner, leave some space for it because any gel liner, anything has a hard time going over a shimmer. I have it swatched here on my hand. No matter what, it just wants to mix in there, and then you're going to dull your liner. And yeah, just leave some space for it. By the way, that's an Amazon link, but it's not an affiliate link. I'm telling you that because you could get this before New Year's Eve. That's what I'm saying. Most of you probably can get this. So if you're wanting a silver shadow, that one you can get very quickly. We're just gonna use the same C30. I'm gonna wipe it on Sheila. Now we're gonna do gold on this side. And this one's from J-Cat Beauty. I'm not sure if this one's on Amazon, but I do know it's very affordable, and so is the Kiko Milano, and they're just amazing. I'm just gonna take it from the lid. I don't trust myself with an open little pot shimmer. It's not a glitter, by the way. This is just a shimmery, super shimmery eyeshadow. I think for this one, I don't wanna apply it wet. I'm gonna apply a little bit of this base just to really enhance it. And then I'm just gonna tap it in. That's perfect. Now that's a beautiful gold. I'm just grabbing it from the lid. And look at how pigmented this one is too. So affordable. Let me see if I can find a link for this. And remember, I'm going to melt them into black eyeshadow. We're just gonna do that last. And leave a little bit of space. Grabbing my Valentino liner, I'm just gonna do a wing on each side. So much easier to go over that blank space. Now I might kind of blur this in a second. We'll see where it goes. Jean is now taking a bath, probably getting my filth off of him. We're gonna do Libre lashes, style number 4, because I feel that that's just a New Year's Eve lash. So we're keeping this affordable. So we're gonna use our Revlon. I talked about it yesterday, which I'll save that to my highlights. Oh, Jean Bean, excuse you with all the snoring. So I'm going to make sure you shake this up. It's been a couple weeks since I've used it, so I shook the heck out of it. I'm gonna do a pump and a half of that. That was more like 2.5 pumps. It was coming out. I need to clean that. I'm gonna set that there. We'll clean that in a second. Let's get our C42. And I wear shade 220, and it's the most perfect shade match. It's so perfect. And if you want to know what I said about this, that if you tap back, that story should still be on my story currently. Look at that, just melted in. I got too excited and I didn't tell you what I was applying because the match was so good. Sometimes the match it's so good that I don't even know what's going on. I just lose track and I just want to watch that melt in. So it's the Revlon Color Stay. So I can't tell you what the concealer is. I'll be able to soon. But that being said, you'll see that it's not much lighter than my foundation. If I want to do brightening, I like to do it after. So the year of YouTube, picture it, it's 2016. We were doing very, very, very light concealer underneath our eyes. But we were doing it with studio lighting. We were doing it at home. We were doing it in a very specific setting, and it was stunning. Yes. That being said, the year is 2023. I am not the same age I was in 2016. And I want to do a concealer that's just 1 or 2 shades lighter than my foundation. And that's what we're doing here. So this is going to not only look wonderful here with my light, it's going to look nice out in public when I go to the grocery store. So if you still want to do a super bright concealer, I love that. That's not what I'm saying, but there are things that we weren't taught in that era, and I should do a video on that because there's just a few things. We can still do it, but it does take a little bit more prep, a little bit underneath, a little bit less in between, a brighter powder. So we'll do a video on that in the new year. So in a sense, technically, yes, it was right. There was just a few steps missing. Now we're going to blur the edges again with our foundation brush. Just the edges. We don't have to get near the eye, just around here. Go around wherever we had it. Around the forehead. See that? Makes a difference. Ooh, melty, melty. So on New Year's Eve, we usually want to be just a little extra glam. I know I do. So if you're wondering, am I even doing anything? No. I'm going to make a cheesecake and maybe some soup. And that is my precious Ben husband just telling me, I'm going to eat some lunch, hun. That's literally what he just told me from downstairs. He's adorable. But anyways, I don't really do anything for New Year's Eve, but I will have makeup on because I love to come up here and play with makeup. But all of that being said, this is a really great bronzer if you want to even add more coverage without just putting on more foundation. I mentioned this one a lot. That's all I'm going to use because this one is crazy pigmented in the best way. You could use very tiny amounts for every day, but I still find that it's a little too glam for my no makeup looks. Maybe not for yours, but for mine, I'll reach for something else. But if I want full coverage glam, I love this one. This brush is perfect for keeping things full coverage and focused. It's the full coverage and focus brush. This one's in the Essential Travel set. This one is amazing for cream bronzers, very thick bronzers. Things that you really want to keep focused. Contour, this is a great one for that as well. And we're definitely going to need to do pressing motions. But look at that beautiful coverage that we get. 10 out of 10 for this brush. Now, this particular formula, this might not work with all formulas, but this very matte blurring formula here from NARS, this is one of my favorite blushes at the moment. I bought this because I forgot all my makeup in Atlanta. Happy accident, let me tell you, because I found my favorite blush. And I'm going to take this on my C41. I have no powder on my face, but this, it has a texture and a consistency and just an all-over feel of a matte setting powder. And when I apply it on top of unset foundation, I just get this blur. It's so pretty. It just blends beautifully. I never get patchiness. I don't want you to lose any patchiness or weirdness. It's just stunning. So this, like I said, this might not work with all blushes. It's this very specific texture. And I will say that not a lot of NARS blushes have this texture. But since this has a texture of a very smooth setting powder, pressed setting powder, it just goes on beautifully this way. Just magical. I will say there is another blush, and this makes me so happy because it's inclusive. This shade is called Exhibit A, and it would be so beautiful on deeper skin tones. It works on my skin tone too. I just use a very small amount. That being said, this has the same texture and could be used the same way as Amore. Yay! I should have found a more affordable blush, but I'm just loving that blush. Plus, I've been trying out that technique, and I just think it's interesting. And maybe some of you already have it in your collection, and you can go kind of check out that formula and try to understand what I'm talking about, because the more we know about formulas, we become unstoppable with makeup. Now we're gonna go ahead and set, and we're gonna get even more of a blur. We're just blurred up. It's so good. Telling y'all, you'll have to try that technique. Sometimes this bronzer can be just a little too warm on me, so I'm gonna grab some M36 so you can see that difference right there. Just a little bit of this more red bronzer brings it back to where I like to be. You might not even notice it on yourself. You might like it. Makeup is just so subjective. It's art. It's art, it's art, it's art. I'm going into 2024 screaming that. Makeup is art. But for me, I just want to add a little bit more of a red tone. Plus, layering bronzers is always a good idea because you get a beautiful dimension. And what that means is you're able to see, it's not as flat. Sometimes you'll just do one bronzer, and it can be lovely, but sometimes you'll look at it and you'll go, something looks a little flat. So by adding two, you're just getting that dimension. Now we're going to take black eyeshadow, the tiniest amount. We have to grab the tiniest brush in our collection for this. It needs to be the tiniest, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press this in between the silver, blur that line a little bit, create a little bit more depth, and a little bit more of a smoky effect. This is so New Year's Eve. To me, on myself, the silver is more New Year's Eve, but I wanted to give you options and do the gold. New Year's Eve just feels like a black waterline to me. It just feels like a black waterline moment. Y'all know this one is my absolute favorite. So I'm gonna post the link for the TikTok I filmed with Mario's new lipsticks. I love them. The formula is just so pigmented, so creamy. These are gonna be probably my new go-to lipsticks. I'm using one that's very, very light. I know you're thinking, what? This is the shade Midtown. And it reminds me of an updated, even better MAC Myth. Who remembers Myth? Because I went hard for Myth. And then I want to do a cooler lip. So I'm going to grab my Sephora collection Dress to the 90s. And this is going to be my new favorite nude lip. I really think that y'all are going to like the Mario lipsticks. And why I feel that they're not just a run-of-the-mill another lipstick is because of how much pigment is in them. And they're just so easy to put on. So a lot of times back in the day, I have to put this way to chat, a pigmented lipstick wasn't sometimes as comfortable. And with all of the makeup science that has happened over the many years, we have extremely pigmented lipsticks that almost feel like a lip balm. This feels so lightweight. It doesn't even feel like I have anything on my lips. So that's why I'm going to rant and rave about these, because it's not just another lipstick. And a lot of times it might be, but sometimes there is makeup science that has happened. And this lip liner formula with this lipstick formula, match made in makeup heaven. We're gonna put a little bit more of this Milk eye primer under here so we don't have any fallout. Just a little wispy whisper. And then we're gonna grab our e.l.f. palette again, an E27, making sure it's nice and wiped off. And then we'll just grab this shade in the center. And then I'm just going to lightly press, and that base is gonna ensure that we don't have any fallout. We don't have time for that. Oh, wrong shade. Wipe it off. There we go. Back in the dark shade. Darken it up over here. Perfect. We're gonna do the same over here. And if you have contacts, that is a must because there's no fluffing. Because I started to wear contacts and I do not have sensitive eyes. I could still even handle the fluff. That being said, it made me think about others more. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're always thinking of others. But it did make me think. It made me think, what could I do to help others? Because I could feel the fluff, but again, the fluff just doesn't make my eye water. That being said, now that I've started to apply this and then go over top of it, it kind of turns it into like a liquid shadow, and then you have no fluffing of the shadow into your eye, and you're good to go. You know what else I want to bring back for myself? Some of you probably already do it, and I think it's beautiful, but I want to bring back tassel. I want to bring back a super bright white inner corner because it's so pretty and it's so fun. And I love it. I've missed it. I feel like I haven't been doing it. And I want to start doing it again. So this is sold out now because I mentioned that I bought it and I told y'all to go get it because it was an amazing deal, but now it's sold out again. Hopefully they'll bring it back because this is probably one of my favorite highlighters in the whole wide world. This one is going to obviously be too dark for my skin tone, but we can use this for eyeshadow. I'm going to do a gold highlight on this side, and then I want to do a pink. This is a cooler pink on this side. Some of you might not be into a pink highlighter. I very much am into a pink highlighter. We'll do it with our C40. So let's do the pink on this side. I'm going to build it up. I didn't want it to be too wild. You can build this up to be blinding, but I just wanted a pretty little soft pink wash. Add a little bit more. Oh, it's so pretty. But see, it disappears when the light isn't hitting it. Perfect. Now I'm going to go take this off and film something else because I have another idea that I want to do. Whew. Plus I have some more secret products that I want to try, and it's easier for me to try those secret products when I don't do a story. I get so afraid I'm just going to reveal all the secrets. Got more secrets right here. You hear that? That's the sound of a secret. I love you all so much. I do have my family. They're going to come back into town, and I think we'll take off Monday, but we'll just move Farrell Monday to Tuesday. So I'll definitely see y'all on Tuesday. I love you all so much. And this can relate to everyone. Happy New Year. I love you. See you in 2024. And then I just wipe the brush on Sheila, and then I'm going to grab the gold, and we'll do the gold on this side. It's just stunning, and you can see through it, and that's what makes it really, really nice on most skin tones. Ooh, that is pretty. So this message is for Pat McGrath on behalf of myself and everyone here. Please bring this back. It's perfect. All right, we're done. You vote. Are you going to wear gold on New Year's Eve? Or are you... I'm the worst. Or are you going to do silver? Vote. I want to know.